Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Bourbon-Glazed carrots. That's right, in my opinion, this is the greatest special occasion carrot side dish of all time. And while that assertion may be debatable, what no one can deny is how incredibly glossy these are, and as we've gone over before, people love shiny food. So with the Easter holiday coming up, let me show you how to make this incredibly delicious and super simple side dish. So we're going to start by prepping 2 pounds of carrots. And by the way, I don't buy the bags of carrots. I always buy loose carrots so I can pick out ones that are all the same thickness. Just makes life easier when you're cutting them. And then, of course, we got to peel them. And here is a great professional prep cook tip. Peel in both directions. That's right, one of these straight peelers works both ways. So I just slowly turn the carrot while peeling in both directions. And if my mathematical calculations are correct, you will finish in half the time. So when it comes to carrots, you definitely want to go both ways. And then once they're peeled, we're going to go ahead and cut those up. So we're going to go ahead and trim off the tip and the top. And one thing I like to do, I like to put a towel around the edge of the board because sliced carrots are famous for trying to escape the cutting board. So this way when they roll, they're going to hit the towel. And then as we start cutting, we're going to pay attention to the shape of the carrot. So where the carrot's the most tapered, we will cut a little thicker piece, a little wider cut. And then as we get closer to the thicker end, we will make our cuts a little less wide. And while these pieces aren't exactly the same shape, they will cook in relatively the same amount of time. So on the tapered end of the carrot, I'll start out with thicker slices, and then as I move up towards the bigger end, I'll make the cuts a little less thick. So to summarize, where the carrot's thinner, cut them thicker, and where the carrot's thicker, cut them thinner. And of course, if you're cool, you'll line 2 or 3 up to make the cutting go a little quicker. All right, and there we go. Our carrots have been peeled and cut, and we are ready to get our glaze on. So we're going to head over to the stove where I have a large, heavy skillet on medium-high heat. We're going to melt a whole stick of butter. And whenever a recipe starts with a whole stick of butter, I will add the disclaimer that this is the kind of side dish you only eat once or twice a year. So relax. It's supposed to be over the top decadent. Hence the special occasion designation. So please save your cards and letters for someone that they will have an effect on. All right. So once the butter's melted and foams up, we're going to add our carrots. If you're using a similarly sized pan, you should be able to get them in one layer, or close to it. We're going to go ahead and add some salt. And then we're basically going to cook these carrots for about 5 or 6 minutes in that butter until a couple things happen. Now, similar to when we do mushrooms and other vegetables, that salt's going to draw out some water in the carrots, and they're going to look like they're simmering in their own juices, which they are. But a couple minutes later, that's going to evaporate, and they will start sautéing in that butter. And you'll see they'll start to slightly brown around the edges. There'll be a little bit of caramelization happening. And we're not cooking them all the way through here, by the way. These are going to simmer in the glaze. So we're only going to do this for about 5 or 6 minutes. Like I said, what you're looking for is that excess liquid to evaporate and for the edges to just start to caramelize a little. And at that point, we're going to turn the heat down to medium-low, and we're going to introduce our bourbon. And we're going to carefully pour in an entire half cup. Now be careful, this really shouldn't flare up, but it could. So be careful when you add it in case you get some flames. You don't want to lose your eyebrows. So we're going to stir in that bourbon, and we're going to cook that on medium-low for about 2 or 3 minutes until most of that bourbon evaporates, and it will look like you're back to just melted butter. And then when that happens, you are ready for the last major piece of the puzzle, the brown sugar. So we're going to pour in some brown sugar. I'm going to take my spoonula. I'm going to mix that in, and that's going to form the most amazing bourbon syrup that you're ever going to come across. So give it a good stir, and then all we're going to do is cook these stirring until they're as done as you want. So give them a mix every minute or two, and I'm going to guesstimate in about 5 minutes you will have perfectly cooked carrots. All right, we don't want them soft and mushy. There should be a little firmness in the center. Of course, you're going to test them with a fork, and at this point, mine were just about there, 95% there. And at that point, I like to turn up my heat, maybe up to medium, possibly medium-high, and just give that glaze a final reduction. Of course, you got to play it by ear. If your glaze is getting too thick and the carrots aren't cooked yet, add a little splash of water. All right? If your carrots seem like they're almost tender and you got too much liquid, turn the heat up. You must adjust, okay? And then once you're happy with your glaze and the doneness of your carrots, I like to finish with a little bit of cayenne, a little bit of freshly ground black pepper, and that is just one incredibly gorgeous vegetable side dish. We're going to spoon those up on our serving platter. Up to you, but I'm going to garnish with a few thyme leaves. I just really think that works well here. Totally optional, though. But it looks and smells nice. And that is ready to enjoy with the special occasion entree of your choice. So whether it's a Christmas or Easter ham or a Thanksgiving turkey, this is just a perfect side dish, and it really does taste as amazing as it looks. And I know what some of you are thinking, isn't that just like eating candy? Well, no, it's not. Most candies have way more nutritional value than this. But that's not the point. Like I said at the beginning, this is something you eat once or twice a year, and you do it guilt-free with no apologies, and that's just the kind of dish this is. So I really hope you give this a try. Head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.